Box-Free with Stephanie. Today I want to show you how to make some basic foods with simple ingredients from scratch, and I hope you discover cooking box-free is fast and delicious. So let's cook together. Today we're going to make what I call my spicy sausage Gorgonzola pasta. So I'm going to start with a box. I don't make my own pasta from scratch, that's for sure. So this does come from a box, but I don't feel too bad about using it. So I have to make half a pound because I don't really want a full pound of pasta for this. Can't get into it. And I'm choosing this masticholi just for the fun of it. A lot of times I use penne or whatever kind of pasta you want. You can use spaghetti, fettuccine, anything, just pasta, okay? So this is 1 pound and it's like up to here, so I'm gonna try to cook half of it, and I've got my water pretty much ready to boil right here. So I'm gonna dump in, that looks like half. Oopsie, oopsie. We'll worry about that later. Okay, so I'll see if I can not boil this over. I'm always bad about that with pasta especially. And I'm going to be looking over there, so we'll see how it goes. Gotta turn it down. Okay, so I'm just going to boil my pasta. I was going to cook it ahead of time, but this dish all gets done at the same time, so I wanted to show you guys that's that easy. Okay, then in here I'm going to do 1 pound of hot Italian sausage. And I think you need the heat. Well, I don't know, I suppose you don't need the heat, but I've never had it without the heat, the hot stuff, because it just gives such a great flavor. So I'm going to take that off of here. And I don't buy a lot of meat at the store, so it's kind of fun to have like real spicy sausage. Okay, so I'm really going to work hard at not boiling this over. Let's see if I can do it. Okay, now I need my little plate to get hot, and then I'm going to cut up my onion. Okay, so I'm going to just cook this, get this going, and I'm going to cut up my onion, wait for my pasta to cook, add a little gorgonzola. So you know gorgonzola is really just a really strong blue cheese. So if you do not like blue cheese, this is probably not going to be one of your favorite dishes. Although I have started putting the gorgonzola on later, because not everyone in my family is a big gorgonzola fan. About half of us are. So I used to, when I first started making this, put it like right in my dish and everything was all together. But after a few times, the whole family said, like, we don't really like all this cheese in there. So now I just put it on top, and then you can just crumble as much as you want, because I kind of like a lot of gorgonzola on my pasta, and other people don't put any. So I guess you don't even have to like the gorgonzola, or do some other cheese you like. I don't know. This recipe came from a restaurant. I mean, I had it at a restaurant, thought it was really good, and then I've tried to recreate it, which of course I'm sure I'm not like 100% at all, but it's pretty dang good. So, I mean, good enough for I like it and I make it. Okay. Hopefully those are like gonna cook. I never have it that low. All right, hang on. I'm gonna get rid of all this stuff in my handy dandy garbage. Just like that. Okay. Now, this is nice and hot. That's good. I'm going to cut my onion. Okay. So I cut it in half, and I do my little strips, and then I do my little strips again. I get these itty bitty pieces, but this is a dish where you could actually leave like larger chunks of onion. There's very few dishes that I do that with, like, you know, pasta primavera and like Philly steak sandwiches. There I want a big chunk of onion, but most times I'm cooking with onion, I do it this way so that I get a really small piece, which is totally a personal preference. So if you want a bigger chunk to kind of match your pasta size, ooh, I'm getting the onion in my eyeballs, just cut them bigger. You can do whatever you want. And I'm just, let's see, I should move this over a tad. I'm just going to cook this sausage, and I'm going to kind of like break it up. What's that word? Not grind. Can't think of it. Ground, that's it. Grind, ground. I was close. Okay. I'm going to make this kind of like ground sausage because I don't want, you know, like these gigantic chunks in my dish, because then like one person would get this huge chunk, but it's up to you, whatever you want. I'm going to check this again. Okay, now this is like barely boiling. Maybe that's okay. It's just tiny bit sticking to the bottom, not too bad, so that's good. Okay, so now I'm going to add my onion right now because I want this to cook for plenty long. Like if it kind of caramelizes a little bit, that's fine with me. I'll take it. Okay, so now I'm just going to cook this up, and it takes like 5 minutes maybe. So it depends on how crazy hot this is. This is kind of hot. I should turn it down a little bit. It's like getting stuck on the bottom a little bit. But that doesn't really matter if we get stuck on the bottom too much, because I'm going to add the cream right into this pan. And so then all those good little food crusts on the bottom of my pan, they will all be taken up in my cream. Oh, and my tomatoes. I'm adding tomato sauce. Well, diced tomatoes. Oh, maybe I'll do that right now. Okay, because this is my petite diced tomatoes, but it's 28 ounces, and I only want half of that. So, what do I have? Okay, so this is 2 cups, which this is probably 3 cups. So I'm going to kind of dump half of this into here and see if it looks like it's half as much as I want. I mean, maybe you could put the whole gigantic thing in, but when I had this at the restaurant, it wasn't like crazy tomatoey, you know, so I don't know that you'd want that many tomatoes. Uh-oh, now I'm losing my heat. Okay, gonna just keep stirring this. Oh, look at that, I'm about to boil over. Woo, that was lucky. Not really, that was, I still had time. I boil over a lot when I make pasta. Okay, now she's really boiling. Okay. Oh, that was pretty lucky. I mean, it's not like that big of a deal. It's just messy, but it's not like it's going to ruin my pasta if it boils over. All right. Hopefully that will sit there. Now, let's get back to our diced tomatoes. So if I dump all this out, I'm going to lose a bunch of my juice, but okay, so I'm going to just do that. Oh, and then I'm going to make a big mess. Try to pull out my tomatoes so that I still have a decent amount of juice in here. Wow, that is kind of a lot. Okay, maybe it is a good... This is 2 cups, I think I said? Yeah, okay. So kind of 4 cups. All right, so I think what I'm going to do is just leave this in here, and I'll throw this in my fridge, and I'll cook something with it eventually. And in the meantime, I'm going to just dump this into my pasta. No, my sauce in a little bit. Okay. My pasta's not boiling over, that's good. Okay, this is almost cooked, so it doesn't really take that long. And then I want to open up my gorgonzola cheese and just show you what that looks like. I'm going to put that on a little, tiny little like serving plate, because again, I don't want to add it to my dish. But if you know everybody in your family likes gorgonzola, then just go ahead and add it right away, because it does kind of melt, and it gives it just a, I think, a little bit of a nicer, creamier taste. I mean, texture maybe, because the taste would still be there, but I like the texture of it when it's added and kind of gets melty. But I can't do that when the whole family's eating. If it's just me, I could, but. Okay, so this looks like a lot of onions, but I think that is okay, because it's not like it's going to be overpowering. And this meat is like spicy enough that you're not going to care if you've got a little bit of a good onion taste. So this is gorgonzola, and I bought the block, which has like liquid in it a little bit. You can buy this ground, kind of like feta you can buy in a block or ground, and blue cheese. So I bought the block because I like to be able to throw it on like that, and it looks so like fun and full of good mold. It's kind of crazy. Hang on, I gotta check this again. And now I think this is almost ready. It's feeling pretty good, but kind of sticky. Oh no, it's not ready. No, no, no. Okay, I need it to boil again, but I don't want it to overboil. So what I was saying was, I like to buy this in a chunk because usually, I don't know, I guess I like to break it up myself. I like to see it as a whole chunk, then like break it up and see where all the little blue veins are, and it's kind of cool. So what I'll do is, I'm only going to take like this much of it because I don't need a whole bunch, because again, only half my family really uses gorgonzola. But see, like that beautiful dark vein in there? That's what I think is so fun, and that's really a good flavor. Here's another one on this side. See that big dark vein of good old moldy cheese? I'm pretty sure is what it is. But it's so good. Okay, so I'm gonna just push this to the side, and then I kind of break this up into like larger chunks. I don't want it to be like grated Parmesan, but I don't want it to be like gigantic either. So I'm looking for that perfect happy medium, and I'm gonna just try a little bit. That was a very small amount. Could barely taste it. It's so like pungent, kind of. Yum. Okay, so now this is almost done, and I have a whole nice amount of sausage fat or grease, and I'm not gonna lose that. I'm gonna keep it right in my pan, because I do add a little bit of flour to this to make like a roux, which makes a thickener basically. I thicken stuff a lot like that. If you have watched any of my other shows, it's kind of the same old thing, because it's just a good way to get food thick. I mean, you can use cornstarch, I suppose, but I never do, because this just seems way easier. All right, so I think that's cooked, but I gotta check this out here. This is getting a little bit exciting back here. So we're just gonna check our pasta here. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I didn't get a spoon or anything. I have down that I only add a tablespoon of flour, which is not very much. Where's my big thing? So here's my soup spoon, and I want to have kind of the same amount of fats as I do flour. So if I run this down, I mean, I've got a good, like 2 tablespoons. But that's okay. I want to kind of go light on my flour, because I'm not looking for a super thick, heavy sauce or like a coating today. I just want a little bit of a thickener. So we're going to go for that's a little bit too big, like a heaping tablespoon, we'll say. We'll start with that. Okay. Boy, that does not look like very much. So because I kind of came up with this recipe on my own after going to this restaurant and having this delicious dish, I never really know how much to add. But this is actually, I thought this was going to be way too little of an amount, but it's looking pretty good. I just want all my stuff lightly coated, not like heavy duty, but a light jacket, even though it's pretty cold out. Okay, what do I need then? 1/2 cup of cream. Okay. Which, here's my thing. I'll check this while I'm back here. This usually does work out really nicely as like a start everything together and everything is ready. And then I'd be doing like my vegetable on the side or whatever right now. And if you had a bread or a salad or whatever, then you'd be pretty much ready to go. Okay, that's feeling better. Need to give it a little more time. So now, instead of adding milk, I'm adding cream, because cream in a pasta dish. Oh wait, I gotta add my tomatoes, duh, too. Ooh. Okay, so that's good. I have not messed it up yet. Right, stir in my tomatoes and then my cream. First I gotta add my flour, right. So I'm gonna add this first, because I want this to kind of cook a little bit longer than my cream. Plus, that's what my recipe says. The recipe I created and made up, and like, I guess I must have liked what I did enough to write it down. So we're gonna just do this. And when you get these diced tomatoes, you don't get a whole lot of sauce. It's not like tomato sauce or tomato paste where it's just solid tomatoes. I only got a little bit of liquid, and then I get all these chunks of tomatoes, which I personally like in this pasta dish because I don't want it to be just meat and cheese. Like, I feel better when I see the little tomatoes in there. So I'm just saying, if you think it's too many tomatoes, just do more kind of the liquidy, or do crushed or something like that. Okay, I hear my pasta cooking away back here. It's not overflowing, but I'm gonna actually taste one now and see. So it should be about done. Okay, drop it down there. If it's like spaghetti, you could throw it against the wall, right, and see if it sticks. That is perfect, I think. It's got just a little bit of chewiness. El dente, right? Is that what they call it? Okay, so I'm going to drain this really quick. And then I'm just going to leave it in this pan. I'm not going to rinse it because when I make a sauce for my pasta and I add it right to it, I never rinse it because I want that sticky pasta to like stick to my sauce. Does that make sense? I want my sticky pasta to cling to my sauce, or my sauce to cling to my sticky pasta. What is it, the chicken or the egg? I don't really know. It doesn't really matter. In this recipe, we don't even have chickens. We don't even have eggs. Okay, so now I've added half a cup of cream, and this is what makes it really yummy. And then I think I need to taste it because we're pretty much done. Oh, and then I need to, shoot, I don't have a little, I don't have a serving bowl to combine it all. Sometimes when I make this in like my bigger frying pan, then I just do this and then I add my pasta right to the dish. I get everything nice and hot. Then I pour it into my serving bowl and bring it to the table. I rarely put like pans on the table. I have no idea why. I don't think my mom did that as a kid, but maybe she did, and like subliminally I'm just like, oh, I can't put a pan on the table. I don't know, but I always do it. So I want this to heat up just a tad longer. And I'm going to salt just a little bit because I'm pretty sure it's going to need some salt. So let's see here. I got my noodles there, pasta here. Okay, so I'm going to get out my big, beautiful serving bowl that I use a lot. And I am going to combine, or maybe I can combine them in here. If I did this in here, I'd make a for sure mess, and the dogs would be really happy because stuff would probably be all over the floor. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do it the right way, which is to get out my bowl. Okay, so now I'll look like a real professional here with my beautiful bowl. Ooh, that looks like a lot of pasta, and it looked like it had a lot of water. Oh boy. Let me see. I think that'll be okay. So that's why I only make half a pound of pasta, and it still seems like too much. So I'm just gonna take a few scoops out because once I add my sauce, I can't take out my pasta. But if I take out my pasta before I add my sauce, oh my gosh, then I can just add more to it. Okay, boy, hang on, this looks a little bit watery. Gotta see if I can drain this without losing all my noodles here. Oh, I'm hardly getting anything. Okay, I'm just overly worried about it. Okay, and now this is kind of bubbling, which is perfect. So I should taste it now before I put it onto my noodles. And when you're making a pasta like this, a sauce for your noodles, I've discovered you do need to have this pretty salty because when you add it to your no salted pasta, of course it tones down all your salt. So I used to like make it and be like, oh, that's perfect. And then I'd add to the pasta and then I'd eat it and I'm like, I swear this was saltier before. So it was when I didn't have the pasta in it. So I'm going to check this. Pretty good. Woo, and a good spicy kick to it. But I'm going to add just a little bit more. And then we are done. So I don't know. I think this is a really fast dish. And these pasta sauces like this, you just kind of come up with stuff, you know, like, I mean, this I got from a restaurant and I'm trying to replicate it, whatever. But most times you can just come up with stuff and put it in your pasta with cheese or cream or whatever, meat, vegetables, however you kind of want to do it. Okay, I'm just gonna leave that full of stuff. So now this looks like it's really heavy on the meat, which you might think is perfect. Actually, it does look kind of perfect. I was thinking it was too much meat. No, it does look really nice. Okay, so I think I'm gonna leave that out. So I'm kind of glad I didn't put all that pasta with it, because I didn't really measure half a pound of pasta. I just guesstimated. So I might have probably over poured it. Okay, that's it. Let's serve some up. Oh, I gotta put the gorgonzola for mine for sure. Yum. Okay, so now what I would normally do would be, like if I already like gorgonzola, is dump my gorgonzola in and you do like 5 ounces. So I would do like this whole thing for this amount of pasta. And then it gives it a really nice flavor, and it does kind of melt and get nice and smooth almost in there. But because it's just me eating this little bitty sample, I'm gonna do like 4 big chunks. And then I'm gonna break it up a little bit so I actually get gorgonzola kind of all over my little serving amount here. And then I'm gonna taste it. And then it's gonna be delicious. Okay, so like that kind of. So now I'm gonna look for everything that I want. I want tomato and pasta and gorgonzola. And when you get that bite of cheese, you're like, woo! Like, it's there. And then the spicy meat kind of gets toned down by the cheese. That's why I think this is a little bit different when you don't have the gorgonzola. So maybe you'd want to add a mellower cheese if you don't like the gorgonzola. I don't know, I think it's just a great combination. I love it, and I love it with a lot of gorgonzola. Okay, that's it. Kind of easy. So, thank you for watching Box Free with Stephanie. I hope you like the show. I hope you make gorgonzola pasta and your family thinks it's just delicious and they love gorgonzola cheese. I appreciate you watching the show, and I will see you guys next time. Okay, bye.